I'm gonna save you years of wasted time, energy, and heartbreak by sharing the 7 types of women to never date. They'll drain your purpose, kill your peace, and leave you wondering what went wrong. Most guys never see these red flags until it's too late. They're too caught up in attraction, attention, and lust. But before I start, understand this. Dating is an investment. You're potentially building a life, a family, and merging your DNA with your partner. You gotta do your due diligence before you invest. That's why the first type of woman is the one who's not really into you, but keeps you around. Let me explain. She cancels plans last minute, doesn't respect your schedule, gives you maybe to dates, and responds to your text hours later with dry answers. But when you're about to move on, she throws you just enough attention to keep you hooked. Here's what's really happening. You're her backup option. You're part of what I call her attention roster. She's got you for emotional support, another guy for excitement, maybe another for financial security and food dates. You're not the main character in her life, just another side piece. You see, when us guys don't have options, we're in scarcity mode, so it's easy to take whatever attention we get. But that's exactly the problem. As a man, you don't chase women, you attract. The only thing you should be chasing is the best version of you and your higher purpose. Trust, when you're locked in on that, high interest women naturally gravitate towards you. If you're negotiating with a low interest woman, you're subconsciously telling yourself your time isn't valuable. And if you don't value your time, why would she? So you see, low interest women waste your time. But this next type drains something even worse. She'll hint at expensive trips, expect you to pay for everything. But when it's her turn to give, there's minimal effort. The dynamic is completely one-sided, and she's not really interested in who you are, only in what you can provide. Don't get me wrong, we want to be rational guys here. So everything in life is transactional to some degree. That's just evolutionary biology. But if that's all your dynamic is, you're not building a relationship, you're just paying for companionship. If you lead with your money or advertise your wealth, you're going to attract transactional women every single time. So instead, lead with your character, lead with your purpose, lead with a man you're becoming, because a woman who's genuinely interested in you will respect these traits, not just your bank account. And if she's only around you because of what you provide materially, you got to ask yourself, what happens when things get tough? If the money slows down, well, she's going to be gone, and you'll finally realize you were never valued for who you actually were. Honestly, like, you see these dynamics a lot on social media and in high-profile locations like in Miami or LA, but none of that is healthy. They're just attracting parasites. Okay, so now you've avoided the time wasters and the transactional woman, but this next type can bring so much chaos into your life without you even realizing until it's too late. This is the kind of woman who hasn't done the inner work. She's carrying unresolved trauma, and instead of dealing with it, she projects it onto everyone around her, including you. Every ex of hers is crazy, every breakup was toxic, she hates all the men in her life. She might even call her own father a narcissist. Honestly, if you meet someone like this, run immediately, because here's the pattern. If all her past relationships end in chaos, and she's the victim in every story, unfortunately, she's the common denominator. Now, I'm not saying people from broken homes can't change, but if she hasn't done the inner self-work, if she's still living in that victim mentality, she's lacking that self-awareness about herself, her attachment styles, her behavioral patterns, and she's gonna bring that chaos into your life. Once you start dating, she might use the threat of breaking up as a weapon on you. She might use mind games and emotional manipulation. She'll blame you for things that aren't your fault. She's gonna create drama out of nothing, because that's the only dynamic she unfortunately knows. But at the same time, as a man, I gotta be real, you've got to take accountability. If you keep attracting women like this, you gotta look in the mirror, because I truly believe you attract what you are. So if chaos keeps showing up repeatedly, ask yourself, have I done the inner work? Have I actually healed from my own trauma? Healthy people attract other healthy people. And if you want a woman who's emotionally stable, you yourself need to be emotionally stable or actively working towards it. However, even if you find a woman who's drama-free, there's still one trait that can mess up your relationships, and most guys don't even realize this. This is the woman who operates in masculine energy 24/7. She's combative, she challenges you on everything, and she can't let her guard down. Instead of feeling like your partner, she honestly feels like a business associate or even just a friend. Let me be clear, I'm not talking about career woman versus non-career woman. Honestly, I feel like that's kind of a generic take, and there are women in intense careers who are incredibly feminine one-to-one with their partner. But then there's also women who don't have any careers, but they're still hyper masculine. Listen, it's not about what she does, it's about the energy she brings. Attraction is about polarity. Masculine energy is attracted to feminine energy, and feminine energy is attracted to masculine. When both people operate in the same energy, there's zero polarity and no attraction. It's like two magnets with the same charge. They're gonna repel. So if she's constantly in masculine mode, competing, challenging, and able to relax, the dynamic becomes depolarized. The relationship starts to feel like a friendship or even a rivalry. not a partnership. Now, there's nothing wrong with a woman who's ambitious or successful, but if she can't shift into feminine energy when she's with you and she can't let her guard down, the relationship will always feel off. But what if you find a woman who's feminine, drama-free, and genuinely interested? Well, this next thing can actually destroy it all. I guess in today's society, this might be a hot take, but this is Glowup Guy, so I'm gonna be 100% real. If a woman has a history of one-night stands, situationships, friends with benefits, or she's cheated in past relationships, it is a red flag. Past behavior is the best predictor of future behavior. Listen, that's not me being judgmental, that's just pattern recognition. If someone spends years chasing short-term dopamine hookups, situationships, cheating, that becomes a habit, and habits don't just disappear. However, and this is also incredibly important, as healthy masculine men, we also need to hold ourselves accountable. So if you're a guy with very high body count, ask yourself, are men who lose themselves in lust ever in the kind of healthy relationships we want for ourselves? If you chase lust, it will 100% affect your ability to build long-term relationships and even your ability to become the best version of yourself and fulfill your purpose. There's so many successful guys whose careers have been tainted because of lust. I'm not saying no one can change, but if you're this type of woman, understand it's going to be a risky investment. If you're a man building something real, building that future version of yourself, do you really want to gamble on someone whose past suggests the struggle with commitment and loyalty? Now, social media might make it seem like everyone belongs to the streets, but that's just extreme content. Remember, extreme content online gets clicks and gets views, so don't get lost in this mentality. There are absolutely quality women who value long-term relationships and haven't lived a promiscuous lifestyle. You just need the experience and the right environment to see this in real life. So next time you're dating, watch how she talks about her exes. If it's always negative, always drama, always someone else's fault, or she's never had any real commitment, that pattern might repeat with you. But on the plus side, if she speaks about a past of maturity without villainizing anyone from an emotionally grounded perspective, that's a huge green flag. However, if you thought that take was controversial, wait till you hear about the next type. Now, this type of woman is a type who lives in environments that encourage degeneracy. Maybe she'll bartend at a club, or she's deep in the party scene. Or maybe she's in professions where workplace dating and sleeping around is extremely common. For example, nurses, the army, certain entertainment circles, or her entire social circle revolves around hookup culture. Listen, even if every one of those environments isn't a walking red flag, you gotta understand this. Your environment shapes you whether you like it or not. And if she's constantly surrounded by people who normalize casual hookups, glorify body counts, and treat relationships as disposable, that will influence her, even if she didn't start that way. So you gotta really be analytical here. If all her friends are in toxic situationships, talk about the rosters, or encourage her to keep her options open, that energy is gonna influence her. So pay attention to the environment she's in and the people around her. That tells you more about her values than most of what she's gonna say to your face. However, this seventh type is the one that tricks so many guys, especially the more successful you become. Because on paper, this next type of woman might seem perfect. She's beautiful, the attraction is high, she's even got high interest in you. But beyond that, there's nothing. No depth, no substance, no shared values or vision. You don't bring anything meaningful to each other's lives. If you're in your purpose and increasing your SMV, you're gonna reach a point where you have options. So attractive women become the baseline, not just the goal. Think about healthy, successful men. These types of men, when they're dating, they always ask themselves, what else is she bringing into my life? And what am I bringing into hers? Are you compatible beyond just physical attraction? Because looks fade. Chemistry even might not burn as hot, but shared values, mutual respect, and genuine connection, that's what builds something long term. However, if you're an inexperienced guy or you're still in scarcity mode, let me tell you something. The first attractive woman who gives you attention might make you lose composure. So it's likely that you're going to ignore the red flags and make irrational decisions. You're going to end up in relationships that looks good on the surface but feels empty underneath. But listen, that's actually fine. Experience is the best teacher. So you just need to put in these reps. So work on yourself, put yourself out there and date enough to become comfortable around attractive women. Because once you're no longer impressed by just looks, you can finally evaluate compatibility in a rational way. And that's exactly when you'll find someone who's not just attractive, but actually adds value to your life. So comment below which type of experience and what else you need help with. Check out the free guide, subscribe for more, and watch this video I made specifically for you. Let's keep glowing up.